Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Safe House Safe Talk. My name is Monica Roberts, and I am the Outreach and Education Coordinator for Safe House. This is our fourth Facebook Live, and as you know, we have been doing different things for Safe House throughout this month for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And this is our last week. And I just want to say thank you to all of our donors, our supporters, our Southern Nevada community offices and agencies who have all just come together to provide, women at our shelter with amazing gifts and support, and everyone who worked with me to raise awareness for domestic violence and let the community know that it is real. It is something that we do deal with, and survivor or not, we all work together to end domestic violence and provide services for so many who have endured the trauma of domestic violence. As you know, I am an advocate for survivors. I love going out and speaking to the community, facilitate support groups, and raise awareness of all the different types of legal abuse. Which brings me to today's guest. She reached out to our agency and has been volunteering and a member of our group, and she has just came such a long way, and love you too, Gail. And she's come such a long way and just provided so much strength and support to the community. I would like to introduce to you to my wonderful friend, Sequoia Brown. She is a survivor, and she's going to share with you today about her story and a topic that we normally do not think or talk about, which is the grieving process of when leaving your abuser and also when your abuser passes. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Sequoia Brown. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and type them in the comment box. Sequoia will be happy to answer any questions or clarify or speak about anything that you would like to ask her. So thank you so much, Sequoia. Welcome to
Thank you.
Safe House Safe Talk Facebook Live. Thank you so much for coming today and sharing your story. I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor.
Good afternoon to the community and survivors and supporters of those who have experienced domestic violence. And I'm truly grateful for Safe House, for they were the only agency that would speak to me. Unfortunately, on September 13th, 2020, I had a domestic partner violence situation that happened and an injustice at the same time. I, Black woman, called 911 for help. And because my significant other is a white male and we worked together for 10 years, he tried to choke me again. And unfortunately, during this altercation, he was bruised because I defended myself. But that evening, I was arrested and charged with battery. And because of my race, weight, and age, this was a factor in my arrest. And when I speak about weight with the Black woman, I had been experiencing molestation from 5 to 8, and I put on the weight in my life so that I could keep abusers away from me. I do have a clean record of 4 years, and this wasn't even taken into account during my arrest. And also, when we're talking about the grieving process, I just found out last Thursday on October 2020 that my abuser was found dead in his house. And so now I have to deal with that as well. And it's very unfortunate to have to go through these issues in life. And I am here to talk to you that speak up. It is time to speak up and share your story as well as to get help, because I wish I would have gotten help before September 13th, 2020. or I wouldn't be sitting here. But I am grateful that I am alive and able to speak with you about this issue because it is continuously happening, especially to the Black woman. And it is unfortunate in 2020 that I have had to experience such an injustice. It really does pain me that I have to also grieve the loss of a 10-year relationship, but also to now have to bury this person. And this is what has been going on the last month. I'm so grateful to be here, to be able to speak with Safe House, the advocates here, as well as legal, because that was very important, because I do have a criminal case now because of my abuser. And I'm hopeful and I'm still standing strong. And I ask that you stand strong in supporting all those who have experienced domestic violence.
Sequoia, you mentioned, you know, being a Black woman and the fact that you did have, you know, a clear record your whole life, and you know, you were in this relationship. I'm not sure. Did you tell the public the race of your partner?
My partner is a Caucasian male. Well, he was a Caucasian male. He's deceased. And we were together for 10 years. In the last 10 of 2 of those years, I was his caregiver. So it was very hard to also be a caregiver to someone who abuses you, but I did the right thing for myself and for him because I knew that he needed help, you know.
So you find yourself today grieving actually 3 types of grieving. You're grieving, one, the loss of the relationship. You're grieving, 2, the loss of obviously his life. Because no matter what, 10 years is still 10 years. And now you're in the grieving process of just what you thought your life, your relationship was like. Can you tell us a little about what are the processes that you've been taking? How would you let another survivor or someone who comes, in your path, and let him or her know this is what I do for, to get over it? Because one thing that, we always try to avoid is the regression. We don't want to go back to or jump into a relationship that is not healthy. So, what can you just share with us a little bit about what are the steps as far as, and you don't have to get as very personal, just kind of how would you give advice to someone who would cross your path and say, look, I can't handle, like, all of this is going on, we left, we split up, I'm going through court, and now we find him who's passed. How would you give advice to someone to go through it?
Well, immediately after I was released from jail, I was on a 12-hour hold. I called around agencies, and Safe House was the only one that picked up and spoke to me. Because they thought I was a criminal, nobody else wanted to speak to me. But Safe House let me know that this has happened before, that the wrong person has been arrested. And I would tell you to definitely keep trying to find someone that can advocate for you, which I did. I did not give up just because I was told several times, no, we can't help you, or didn't even want to speak to me. Please reach out to someone such as Safe House and get in a group counseling, which I did immediately. Domestic Violence Women's Survivor Group, I'm a part of every Wednesday, which has given me tools to help overcome the anxiety, the sleepless nights, even the anger that I have been done this way, how to process that. And now I'm so grateful that I have supporters, and Monica, because she is the leader of our Domestic Violence Women's Group, who has given me a space to grieve and to support me in a way that I need. So I would definitely tell you to speak to someone, call, an agency that they can help you, because counseling is very good for you. And it is very much needed that we can speak to someone. Maybe it may not be a family member because they could be too close to you. And I'm grateful for the counseling that they do have here. And that's helped me to seek out legal aid, lawyers, and how to protect myself and set clear boundaries because this was a big thing for me over the last month. Setting those clear boundaries, which is a key in our counseling, is to make sure that we are protected and also that we can voice our hurts, our abuse that we experience because it has been going on for such a long time. So that is how I would recommend someone to speak up, get help.
Definitely, definitely. And, we are thankful that you did continue and find us. I think it's been a blessing to, the both of us. Um, you were talking about how, so many, mostly Black women are, like the officer said something about like your weight or, and so,
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like you weren't even given an opportunity to explain yourself? I mean, you took care of this man who continually had seizures, I believe. And yes, and so, I mean, how, and we have to say it's not like it happened once. As we know, it happens on many occasions when we're not believed. So how did you, I mean, how do you stay strong and just, say, you know what, I have to do this for me? Um, you know, regain your identity and your empowerment. And how, how do you just, I guess, keep it together? And especially like, just now we found out that your abuser passed, and so now you're dealing with that type of grief as well. Um, how do you see yourself like just hanging in there? I guess.
You did mention something about the officer in my weight. When I did call 911, I called once for myself, but I have called over the last 2 years 15 times. I got the record from 911. How many times I have called the paramedics to help him, my abuser. And the one time I called for me, I was arrested. And I'm like, wow. The scales are very much in balance for the Black woman. And I was like, I called for help, but I was arrested. And nobody looked at the previous history of his medical condition, but they did look at my weight. And immediately when I heard them discussing my weight, I just became silent because I already knew where it was going. And so how do I stay strong? I know my character. I know who I am. I know the last 10 years I cared for a man for 10 years, his house, him, his whole life. And I can say I did what I was supposed to do for him. And I know that God watches me. And that's the only reason I'm standing strong because I knew what I did was right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing is we always want to maintain that faith that, the justice is on our side, and, that the truth will come out, and
Right.
that's, I mean, at least that's what I've been saying for the past 14 years. But, it's a matter of just accepting and moving forward and knowing that, you have a clear conscience. When you lay your head on the pillow at night, you know that what you did everything that you could have, and the rest is up to fate. So that's very hard to do. It's easier said than done,
Oh,
but
yes.
for you to have already acknowledged that and accepted that, that's just amazing. That's a step in our healing journey that it could take months for that to happen. Um, you know, I'm sorry for your loss because abuser or not abuser, you were still with this person for 10 years. So, it's got to be hard. And,
Yes.
we are all thinking about you and here for you, obviously, as well as we have been. Um, how would you how would you see, I guess what I'm trying to say is, how do you, how, you have different types of grieving that you're going through right now. What do you think that your steps are to be able to handle these three different types of grieving processes? Because I mean, you could be angry for this and then be sad for this, so you're going to go through a lot of emotional, tornadoes. um, what are some of the things that, I mean, you feel that you're going to do, but also that you would suggest for someone else to deal with these grieving processes, because they are individual processes that actually just fell onto your plate all at once. So what do you suggest as far as, being able to take care of those processes?
Well, one is therapy. I met with my therapist this morning. I've been going to therapy because I was told it was definitely needed. And today I realized I was so thankful to have a therapist to talk to about the death and how to process this portion of grieving, because I've been grieving that the relationship has ended. But now on Thursday, when they found him deceased, I was like, wow, I have to deal with this now. So just being able to talk to a therapist, being with the women in the domestic violence women's group gives me courage that I'm not alone, because I feel that before this I was alone. And I was taught to not tell anybody what was going on with me. And that is the most hurtful thing.
Yeah. And I think we've talked about in the past, like how our different cultures, um, you know, um,
Yeah.
we have to kind of keep our laundry in the house. From the outside it looks like we have this fabulous life, but nobody knows what's going on, excuse me, behind the closed doors.
Right.
So, and that's another thing that we have to deal with, as well as how do we even approach, telling someone, how do we get the courage to even speak up about what's going on? um, how did you finally get to the point where you said, you know what, I need to speak up, I need to provide some type of information and awareness to these women, and especially Black women, as you know, in your culture, it's kind of like the Italian culture, but also, in your culture, you have to remain quiet because you don't tell anybody what's going on in your home. What was your, that final like straw that was like, you know what, I need to say something?
When I was arrested on September 13th, I couldn't believe that would happen to me. In my 40 years, I'm a pillar to my community, pillar to the church that I attend. It. I just didn't ever think this would happen to me, and I heard God say, "You have to speak up. You can no longer keep quiet." And just over those hours being in jail, I never would have pictured myself in that space. But that is what society pictures me as a Black woman. And I said, no more, no more injustice. I will do everything I can for those who have suffered domestic violence. And I will continue to be a voice and also an advocate for those who need to listen, you know, and to be told that we need to have better laws in place.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And we've spoken
Yeah.
about that, before. And I've mentioned it before in our first Facebook Live, how, when people say, oh, domestic violence, oh, that's just when, you get hit and then one goes to jail, the other, or you walk away. And there's so much more to domestic violence that society doesn't even realize, and a lot, and from the groups, you've heard me speaking about emotional abuse and legal abuse and digital abuse. I mean, in my situation, you know, he was a genius. I mean, electronically can destroy a life, and people don't look like, the society doesn't recognize that as domestic violence. The officer told me that it was called legal stalking, and there's nothing that could be done. So I'm just very thankful that you shared your story and you shared your process. And, you know, like I said, we're sorry for your loss because it does hurt. I mean, abuse or not, you were with this person for 10 years,
Right.
you know, and so um, we just want to thank you for just being here today and talking to our community. Would you mind if they were able to contact you? Maybe if you could give out your email address or.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I would be more than willing to share my email address. It is soulservices777 at yahoo.com. And I'm welcome to answer any questions. And also, when you mention legal abuse, now I'm experiencing legal abuse from his side of the family. And I'm like, that is just one more,
Absolutely.
stone that is being thrown at me, as I would say.
Absolutely.
And it's horrific. And I'm grateful to be able to process with, this with you and my counselor.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's. I think support is
Mhm.
huge, and just knowing that you have someone there that you can talk to who's either been through the process or is very aware of the process, and I think that's very important because it's when you feel alone
Yeah.
that you feel as though your life is over. You know, what's the point of moving on? So, I love the fact that you feel strong enough within yourself that you know you have the support. So, with anyone out there, oh, Miss Gail said that she can definitely identify with you,
Thank you,
and
Miss
that
Gail.
God bless you,
Mm.
sister. So,
God bless you as well.
thank you. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today and listening to my friend Sequoia Brown's story. And I just want you guys to know, reach out. We are here for you. You're not alone. Safe House is here for anyone. We do not send anyone away. We are here to provide you support. Um, if you would like more information on women's groups or the services here at Safe House, please feel free to reach out. Our number is 702-451-4203. We have advocates, counselors, um, outreach and education. We're here for you. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, um, tall, short, male, female, gender unknown. We just want you to know that you are loved and you are supported, and we are here for you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sequoia. Thank you, community, for joining us for this month with our Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'm here. Reach out anytime and stay strong. And just because we have 1 month of domestic violence awareness, um, we will strive to raise awareness every day. So thank you so much, Las Vegas, Henderson, Boulder City, Pahrump, Reno, wherever you are. Um, and have an amazing, amazing holiday season. And we will be back in the new year. Thank you so much. Bye bye.